One of the things I'm really proud of about this campaign is I think we've built a structure that can sustain itself after the campaign. Because people wonder how did this guy like win all these states? How do you win Idaho by 40 points? It was because volunteers got together and they really built the campaign. They built the campaign. We weren't even there in Idaho, and suddenly we get a call from somebody saying, "Hey, I'm here in Idaho and I'm organizing, and can senators stop by sometime?" So we didn't have originally, big plans for Idaho, but people made this structure. So now we've got our database has a couple million people on there who are activated and inspired, and they know each other, and they're communicating to each other through these, through the internet, and there are all kinds of different groups. And so what I want to do is to continue that after the election. Number one, we're going to keep on having town hall meetings. I want to keep on having conversations like this where I'm listening to voters. I want to really open up transparency in our government, so that you guys know on a day-to-day basis what's happening. And I want to revamp our White House website or whatever. I mean, I know it's nice to take the virtual tour, the China room, and all that stuff. But I mean, I want people to be able to say, today this issue's going on. Today that issue's going on. Today, President Obama talked about his proposal for $4,000 tuition credits for every student every year. It's going to be going into this congressional committee. These are the key leaders in the House and the Senate who are going to be deciding on the bill. Here are the groups that support it. You should contact your congressman. You should, right? I mean, just creating the kind of situation where people, if they want to get involved, they have the information to do it, and it's easy. It's not, I mean, the information's out there right now, but you trying to track it down and find it in one easy place, that's hard. Having our cabinet members come out and do town hall meetings. I mean, when was the last time that anybody had any idea who, what the Secretary of Health and Human Services was planning in terms of public health services, or how we're going to, right? They just don't get out of Washington. So send them out and let them be visible and let them listen to people. All those things make a difference. The more we can enlist the American people to pay attention and be involved, that's the only way we're going to move an agenda forward. That's how we counteract, by the way, the special interests, which I talk about all the time. One way of counteracting special interests is making sure that I'm not beholden to them, and that's why we don't take PAC money, we don't take money from federal registered lobbyists. Passing ethics reform, so we're not having this revolving door between the White House and big industry. But part of it is, the only way to counteract it, especially in Congress, is if the American people are paying attention. And that's why we need you. I will need you on health care. I will need you to pass a big energy bill. And when it comes to what I need you to do, not only do I need you, am I going to need the American people to be involved, but I'm going to need the American people to accept that sometimes there aren't any quick fixes. But we've got to make sure that we're looking out for the next generation. I mean, this gas tax holiday, which was done back in the 80s, if instead of doing that, and this was when gas was like 150, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's 150, it's out of hand." And so right before an election, it was passed. If instead of doing something like that, we had taken some revenues and said, we're going to put we're going to spend all that money developing, starting to develop a replacement for the internal combustion engine, or really putting all our energy and focus in developing alternative fuels. Then now we'd be in a much stronger position. But we just keep on putting off all these big problems. We put off energy, we put off dealing with our healthcare system, and it just gets worse and worse. It's gobbling up our whole budget because we haven't gone ahead and bit the bullet. And the point of this election is we can't put it off anymore. Time is now, and that means making some hard choices now And so what I'm going to need is people being willing to support some hard choices now.